All right, so today we're doing shoulders and arms. So I had to modify my split this week simply because I had to travel. So my week got a little messed up. So we're looking at shoulders and arms, which I had to put together, which I'll be honest, I used to love and do all the time. And I'll show you what I do for that. And give it a try, guys. Throw it into your routine if you want. I like it. It's a good pump. I don't do it often, but when I do it, it feels good. It feels almost like a treat, you know? It's all muscles that people like to look at, people like to train, for me anyways. So as you can tell, I warm up on the bike and then I go right into the skier. Now, I don't do the skier often. I only do it when I know that I'm doing a really focused shoulder day. I want to make sure they're loose. I want to make sure that the stabilizers are properly firing. So then when I go into my lift, I don't have any hiccups, okay? Now, again, keep in mind, I've mentioned this before, I have a fully separated shoulder. So that's why I warm up this way. Guys, you don't have to do this if that's not something you want to do. But I'll tell you one thing. If you get in a habit of doing it early, it's a lot easier to incorporate into your routine than just throwing it in there as you get older, okay? I'll say that. Now, what I'm doing here is basically loosening up my lats, my triceps, my wrist mobility, all the fascia that gets tight in there, right? This feels really good. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. Just make sure that the bench is high enough that your elbows are a little above your ears, give or take, or same level, okay? And as you lean back and lean down, you're pushing on the bench, stretching, you'll feel all that fascia and you'll feel that nice stretch and pull in your rhomboids, your shoulder blades, your wrists, your forearms, your tricep. It's a good one. You should definitely try it. The closer you are to the bar, the harder it is, okay? The wider you go, the easier it gets, right? The goal is to eventually get closer. It's hard to do. Now I went and picked up a kettlebell, for this. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's like 6 kg or 8 kg. And this is more for external rotation, right? And interior rotation. So I do this for a rotator cuff, for stability in my stabilizers around my shoulder blade. It feels good. Again, I'm gonna do a lot of shoulders in this workout, so I just wanna make sure that everything's firing properly. Okay, guys? Again, right? Don't forget, 41 years old. I can't just go off the streets right into the gym and start lifting. I just can't do it. I need to warm up. That's what works for me, and that's what my body likes, okay? I normally do just 1 or 2 sets. It really depends on how I feel that day. And then over here, you'll see it's a light resistant band. And again, rotation, shoulder rotation. I want to make sure that the joint and the socket here is moving properly once I hit the gym floor and start adding some load to it. Okay, that's all it is here. I'm not really counting when it comes to this. I'm just going by feel. Once I feel like it's loose enough and I feel good to go, I jump right in. So I like to start with the Smith machine. I'll do 3 sets of this. Again, anywhere from 8 to 10 reps. And as you can tell here, this is kind of like my warm-up / first working set. I'll treat it like a working set, but it's more just to kind of get things loose. And then my 2 other sets will be with a little bit more weights, okay? As you can tell, I'm coming down. Elbows are neutral. They're not flared up. I'm not shrugging, right? And it's coming right past my chin, guys. Right past my chin. There you go, as you can tell, okay? My back, you can't really tell from this angle because I'm wearing a hoodie, but my back is flat against the bench. And I'm kind of pushing against the bench as I'm pushing up, as my feet are grounded to the ground, which is very important, right? Core tight at all time. Now, I do want to say one thing. Once I clip this, you'll notice I'm clipping it this way. Normally, I wouldn't do that. It's just this is the only Smith machine that was available, and the bench does not fit the other way around. But I highly recommend you clip it this way to save any type of injury, or it's better, it's less risk-free, basically, I guess you can say. So this is for today. That will be my final working set in a sense of for weight wise. Okay, so I think I have on there a 45 and a 25 on each side, and that's it. I'll do, I think I squeezed out 6 in there if I'm not mistaken, but again, nice and controlled as you can tell. Then I'll go into Arnold presses seated. So I like to alternate them. As you can see, I like to do them seated and I like to do them standing. The angle is not the best here, okay guys? You got to work with me here. I'm not trying to be all cinematic or anything, but that's the only angle I had. So as long as my feet are grounded to the ground, my core is tight, I'm not swaying back and forth, and the rotation is happening on the way down and it's controlled, that's where I like to be. I think I'm using 50 pounds and I'm doing sets of 8 to 10 here, okay? And then I'll switch it up, so I'm doing it standing here, just because again, I like to switch it up. So some weeks I'll do seated the whole time, some week I'll do standing the whole time, some week I'll switch it up, either or, okay? I just like to have variety and change, and this targets a little bit more core. As you can tell, I'm doing it a little different. I'm swaying, it's a little bit more athletic, a little more explosive, but I'm really focused because I can get away with doing a little bit of movements this way because I've been doing it for a long time. I can stimulate the muscle pretty good, okay? And then I go to typical classic shoulder raises, lateral raises. As you can tell, I don't know if you can see, but my hand is facing the ground the whole time. So as I'm lifting the weight, the palm is facing the ground, and I don't want to go past my shoulders. I want to stop right at my shoulders and control it on the way down, okay? So I'll do 3 sets of those. 35 pounds is normally what I use, anywhere between 25 and 35, depending on how I'm feeling that day. But I try not to sway too much. Like, you'll see me maybe swing a little bit, but again, for me it's heavy. I'm 180 pounds, so it's heavy for me, you know? But as you can tell, it's controlled, and the range of motion is there. I'm trying to flare as far as possible from my body, all while keeping control of the entire movement, right? That's very important. Rear delts. So I like to use the cables. Sometimes I'll use the pec deck machine reversed. It wasn't available, so I go straight into a cable. As you can see, I'm rotating a little bit in there. That's just to get full stretch and full extension. I don't know, maybe you'll see it here better. I'm really trying to get my rear delts. There you go, I moved a little bit. Knuckle is facing out, right? Knuckle is facing out, and that's kind of how I like to do it. And then we'll go into arms, okay guys? So that's it for shoulders. Tricep extension. Again, I try to use either 2 cables, like 2 ropes put together, or the long rope as you can see here. And for this, I try to lock in the elbows and I try to push down and separate as far as possible, and then slowly go back up and control it, as you can tell. Okay, elbows are locked in. I'm leaning forward just a little bit. Think of like getting out of a pool, right? When you get out of a pool, you put your hands down, you push up. That's kind of the same motion that you want to do on here. Again, 10, 12 reps if I can for arms, and then I'll do single arm. I really like this one personally, so you switch it to a cable, from the cable to a handle, and you kind of push down using your knuckles and out. I like this one. It takes a lot of practice to do it right, to be honest, but I do feel it hits the top of the tricep pretty nicely, especially the head of the tricep, and I get a good pump when I do it. But you have to be careful because the wrist is in a vulnerable position. You want to make sure it's straight and locked because you can easily hurt yourself doing that, okay? Then I'll go into biceps. So I only do those two exercises for tricep because I did a lot of shoulders as well. So bicep, when it comes to biceps, I keep it super basic, man. I use the machine. I load it for maybe a plate and a half, maybe. I try to focus on the way down, all the way down as low as I can, and I want to make sure that my armpit is jammed into the pad, okay? I lean back a little bit. You can't tell here, but as I'm coming up with the weight, I lean back a little bit just to kind of get the full stretch of the biceps here. Okay, guys, and I don't hold it too wide and I don't hold it too close. I hold it like right in the middle where I feel comfortable, and I try to push like I'm trying to separate the bar. Okay. And then I'll go into bicep curls with dumbbells. Nothing fancy. Nice and slow. Now, I do want to mention, like, this seems a little fast, okay? I think that the video sped up just a little bit because I didn't want you guys to get too bored watching this, you know? So I'll do both arms and then I'll do single, as you can tell. Right there, standing. Okay, alternating. So I like to switch it up. No, there's no rhyme or reason. I just like to kind of shock the body a little bit, not always kind of make a guess, I guess, not always do the same exercises. So I like to switch it up when it comes to little things like that. Now, the most important part is to hit the rep range and have a weight that's a little challenging. So as you can tell, I'm swaying a little bit towards the end because last set, I'm tired, but I just need to squeeze it out, right? So that's kind of it for shoulders and arms. Again, I don't do this often, but when I'm when I'm on a time crunch or my schedules change, I'll throw that in, and that's exactly how I'll do it. Now, I do want to say that depending on how far my chest was or my back was, I'll throw in dips or some like close grip chin-ups. But because I did back not too long ago and a chest the day before, I avoided those exercises because they're a little harder to do on the body. So one thing I'll say, listen to your body, listen to what you're feeling that day, make sure you go to the gym, give it your all, and that's it. So let me know what you think of this split when it comes to shoulders and arms. Is that something you do? What's your set and rep range that you do? Throw it all in the comment and let's chat. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.